Alright guys, I just got done installing a winch on my grandparents' 19 XP1000 Ranger, and it took me all day. Now I'm pretty picky. I don't want no wires coming loose. I don't want no wires rubbing and grounding out later. I want to be as watertight as possible, and so I take my time and maybe do a little overkill. But let me tell you what I got here. So this is the KFI 5,000 pound winch. As you can see here, and on top of that, you're going to have battery cables. That is a part number. Comes in this bag as well. Now there's another box, which I apologize, but I threw that away. And there was two brackets. I don't know if I can show you real well. There's this bracket and this bracket. This part here hooks up to the factory bumper, and this part, they kind of go together. Anyway, the winch hooks up to them. So what you do, you take this bumper off completely. There is bolts there, right up in there. There's bolts right up there, and then there's going to be some bolts right on the bottom here, right there, and right there. Those four are the only ones you need to pull this bumper off. And then once it's off, you put these two plates in the kit. So there's actually three parts you got to buy: the winch, this mounting kit, and then the cable kit, which is basically just longer battery wires. They go from the battery up to the switch here. Now there's I'm gonna get ahead of myself here. So anyway, once you get the bumper off, you mount this winch in there to the frame there, and then you put the bumper on. And like it'll tell you, you don't want to tighten these bolts, because once you get the bumper on there, you're gonna hook this up into this piece here, and so you want to leave the winch loose until you get this this thing here on there. Then you tighten it down. Let's see. So anyway, as I was saying, they give you some cables here that come with the winch. Now I'm not exactly sure why they sold me this, but I have a feeling that first of all, these cables here are not going to be long enough to go to the battery that's in here. So I'm going to assume that the cables they send you are probably to, well, actually the instructions are to hook here and here, but then the dealer gave me those cables, so I'm assuming maybe there's too much amperage for this power block, whatever it's called. I'm not sure. Anyway, I had the cables, so I used them. I ran them through here. There's a little hole right here, as you can see, right in between these air vents here, and it goes down to the bottom. I don't know if I can get you to see in there, but right in between the two pipes there is where I ran the cables to the battery. And then you have to take this panel off, and then I ran the cables with another wire right up into the battery. Now it's a real pain to get those cables down here and dig them out. It's really tricky to do, but it can be done, obviously. And then you have this grommet here where you're going to run in your key on wires, which one goes to the switch here, and the other one goes to the other one's right here. Okay, it goes to the plug. Now I put my plug out here, so if I'm going to be outside using the switch out here, I don't want it to be inside. Now they do have a little spot right here to put that, but there's already a switch here. So why do I want this thing in here? If I'm going to be outside using it, I want to be out front using it. So I put it right there. The camera will go in there anyway. That's what I did. I tried to do it a pretty clean install. Now here, if you get this kit, you're going to have some little wires, a green and black wire. There's going to be a green and black wire, and of course the red that comes from this switch, and then there's going to be a green and black and white wire that will come from the switch inside the dash. And the white wire just goes to your ground here, and then the green and black wires, they kind of hook together. There's wires that come out of here, so they all hook to the same plugs there, but they're kind of exposed, and I don't like it. So if you can see, I've taped, after I put them all together, I taped everything good so it was watertight, and then I just kind of zip tied everything up in there. And the way I ran my cables to the winch, now some guys, I saw a video where they kind of come up around the radiator and come up through there. I didn't like the way that was. That didn't seem good to me. And like I said, I'm a little picky about stuff. So this is how I ran mine. There is some wires, factory wires right here, and so I ran my cables down. Probably not gonna be able to see them, but basically I ran them right in contact with this. Well, sorry guys, I should have been more prepared. Okay, so I ran my wires to this thing right here, and then down. I just followed the factory wires to this box here. Okay, and this comes off with some couple clips there. They snap on there and there, and then you just snap them in, kind of like the razor. If you guys have, any of you had the razor. Okay, and it just pushes in there. Okay, so anyway, so then I ran the wires up along the frame there, and up along, you'll see them right there, up along there, and right there it kind of rubs on the frame. Where I put it, it rubs on the frame there, and I didn't want anything to happen later down the road, so I put some wire loom to keep the wire coating from rubbing off. And then I ran it up to that coolant line and through that hose, and that is the cleanest, best way that I could find to do it. So that's how I did run my wires. Now, like I said, these instructions are terrible. Now those are the two plates that I was telling you about. Now what they show you is one washer, but they don't tell you what kind of a washer. And so there's some flat washers and there was some lock washers. Well, I didn't know if I was going to have to need them later for something else, but I decided I wanted the lock washers on for sure, so I put those on, and that seems to work. Now I probably could have used the flat washers too. As you see here, I've got some extra flat washers. These are flat washers I could have used, and maybe it meant to do the flash washers. I don't know. It doesn't say. The instructions are pretty crummy, and you get all these extra parts, bolts and stuff, and so I don't know. Maybe it's universal for other machines, but anyway, it makes it a little confusing on what length of bolt you're supposed to use and what washers and all that. But now that I'm all done with it, you could have used the flat washers that they provided, plus the lock washers on these bolts that hold the winch on, and these two plates. The other thing that was pretty aggravating to me is this the rollers that you put, if you can see it, that you put on the bumper. Okay, you're going to see there's two holes, but then there's also two half holes, as I call them, and the fairlead rollers that they give you is actually not wide enough to go to this full hole clear over to this full hole. So you're having to use these two half holes, and you can see them again a little bit in the picture right there and right there. That's where your bolts come through to hold this on, and you can see a little bit of it, of the actual hole sticking out. So this is a 6-inch, so maybe I'm guessing there's an 8-inch somewhere roller here, and then it would go into the actual holes, because you know this plate would accept either or. I didn't like the way it mounted up, only using those half holes. That seems kind of cheesy to me, but anyway, maybe it'll work just fine. But that was definitely a complaint that I had, and at first I wasn't sure how to do it, because it really doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do with it. So anyway, trying to think of some other issues I had. I mean, like I said, the instructions just really don't tell you much, and if you're new at all this stuff, there's a lot that a lot of guesswork, and they kind of give you two instructions. This I believe this came with the two plates, and this plate comes with the winch, which I didn't have any huge need for. I'm not sure what it's for, but that'll be extra. And then so this comes with the plates, and then these instructions come with the winch, so you kind of got to use them both. Neither one of them are all that good, but anyway, so like I said, there's going to be three parts. You're going to have the winch, you're going to have the two brackets that will come with these instructions here, and then you're going to have this little box. Again, those are part numbers of the longer cable that I think you're going to need. And like I said, they've provided cables, but these are going to be too short to go to the battery, and maybe you can go the other route. That's what the instructions say to do, but I'm not so sure that things are going to work properly doing it that route. So anyway, like I said, I had the cable, so that's what I did. The other very important issue that I ran into is these switches. Okay, so I cut one of this block out perfectly, just like the factory hole, and these switches go in there just perfectly, nice and tight. Everything's great. Well, this rocker switch that comes with this winch is actually smaller. You can see, I think there's a little gap right there. Okay, see it moves. So I have zip tied a wire back in there to kind of hold pressure on it so it doesn't come out. Now I don't know exactly what I'm going to do about it. I haven't been able to find any covers to patch this hole. So basically the only thing I can do is either move it to another hole and cut it smaller, and then maybe get another switch later on for this hole. I don't know what to do yet. My grandpa's not the type to go into a lot of accessories, so I don't know if he'll ever get a switch for anything else. So until then, I don't want to cut another hole. But this part right here is only 27 bucks new, so I was half tempted just to get a new one and fix that. But anyway, it's working for now, and I'll do something different with it later. But definitely something you want to watch out for. You know, there is, as I now see later, but it just didn't cross my mind when I was doing this. But see, let's see, it's not there. Maybe it's the next page. Oh, well, yeah, it is right there. So see, they tell you the size of you know what you need to cut there, but I didn't look at that. I just figured, well, man, it's for a Polaris. It's for the Polarises, and it should be the same size switch. I've installed a couple of these on other machines, other Polaris machines, and this switch was the same size. So I didn't even think about it. You know, figured no big deal. Well, it is a big deal because it's not the same size. So anyway, definitely want to note that. So now, like I said, you'll have to take this thing off, and this thing comes off with these push pins. I believe there's 6 of them. There's also one here and one on the other side. Now, there's also going to be one of these push pins. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Okay, but back inside here, there's going to be another one that holds this on. And there's also supposed to be one on this side, but there's not. Probably because the battery's here and it's a real pain to get to. So I don't know if it's not supposed to be there or if somebody was lazy and decided not to do it. But of course, I decided to be lazy too, and I didn't put one in there. I mean, it's in there secure, so I don't see the need to do that. But anyway, so once you get these out, and it doesn't seem to come out, remember there's going to be one, maybe 2 inside holding this thing on. And so I'll take that off, and then you'll take this top thing off, and it's 2 more of these push pins, and then it just kind of pulls out. And then there's 2 more push pins here, and then there's going to be 2 push pins there, and that's all you got to do to pull it out. You don't have to pull the dash out or anything else to get to that. And I think that's pretty much it. And so, like I said, I ran my cables down through here, and they come up on the side of the battery here, and then I just connected them there. And so I think that's it. I'm not the best at doing these videos, but hopefully it kind of gives somebody a little heads up on what they're doing, and might save them a little bit of time, as it took me a long time to get things figured out the way I wanted them. And like I said, the only thing that you're really going in here is your wiring harness for your switch. Now the key on wire that comes from this switch, I ran it in here, and I also ran it into there so I could connect it to the same place I was connecting the other one in. But otherwise, there's nothing else that goes in there, just the dash switch, and then the wire to this other connection here. And then of course there's a factory wire. Now they'll tell you for these key on wires, they're going to tell you to hook up to this one. I decided to do that, to run them inside in the dash, and I hooked them to it was one of these, it's the same wire, orange and white wire, and that's what I did. Instead of running to that wire, I ran it to those wires. So anyway, that is it. Now they also didn't give me, I don't know what screws. They gave me some little screws. Maybe I have them here. That was pretty. Oh yeah, these little things right here. This is what they gave me. These little tiny things. Okay, and they're so tiny that they don't really. I mean, there's some washers, and I got some other ones, but they don't really work good. And then you gotta fish them out from, I don't know if you can see from up in there, and they're pretty difficult to get up in there. And so what I ended up doing is just using these metal screws, and I put 4 of them in there to hold that down, and that's not going to go anywhere. If it ever does, well, I'll get some different bolts, and I'll stick bolt clear through there, but I don't see the need to do that. So anyway, I don't even know if that's what these were for, but I'm assuming so. I just decided to go a different route. So anyway, that is the deal there. So anyway, hopefully I was helpful and saved some of you guys some time. So catch you later.